Someone who takes a lot of the ire in this situation, as we talk about the history of TNA here, is Dixie Carter. Someone who was largely behind the scenes for most of
Right.
her TNA tenure. Around 2012, 2013, she becomes a TV character. I know you've had a lot of positive things to say about Dixie in the past on this podcast, but you were keenly aware of what was going on in the wrestling scene. How much of an effect on the trajectory of TNA do you think Dixie Carter's appearance on television had, and her management of the situation of the company at the time?
I do. I have lots of love for Dixie. It's funny, just a couple days ago. It's actually when I was at the taping, the second day on Saturday. She had sent me a message. It's a kid that myself and Jeff visited in the hospital when we were there for like a live event show, and they didn't think he was going to live that long. And he had pulled through, and he's still living today. Has a lot of issues, but just myself and Jeff are his favorite wrestlers, and we sent videos to Dixie, and then Dixie sent me the reaction video that he sent back
That's
in
awesome.
return, which was cool. And she's still we'll still stay in touch and text or do whatever. And it's one of those things, man. I say that, like, if you appear on TV or if you appear on social media, I mean, it's like if you don't want to be a character or you don't want to somehow be involved in the mix, you almost have to like stay completely out of it. You go to the booking meetings, you don't comment on the show online, whatever. I mean, I feel like it's a very fine line before you become a character on the show. I feel like Dixie had almost kind of got to that point where she'd been on the show enough where people were starting to reacting to her in a negative or positive light, whatever it may have been. And then you end up being a character on the show, and she may have wanted to be a character on the show. She probably did want to be a character on the show. So it's like I don't hate that, but the usage of it has to be right. Same thing with Tony Khan. Like, I know Tony didn't want to be a character on the show, but Tony is a character on the show, whether he likes it or not, because of his interactions online and social media and just being there making his announcements and this, that, and the other thing. So like the fact that they did that angle with him, like, I supported that. And I think that can be done well if done good. And I'm not opposed to these non-wrestler characters having stories on show. And even the thing with Dixie, I thought it was intriguing how she became like this bad person, and then ultimately they built to the payoff of like the Dudleys power bombing her through the table, if I'm not mistaken.